Hey everyone, welcome back to My Green Pets. I'm William Green, and this week I'd like to talk about the cost of starting up your own orchid grow room. My orchid grow room is located in my basement in a corner which used to be used for shoveling coal back when coal was the main way of heating people's houses, but this coal room has been converted to a grow room now. I chose this location for my grow room because it was completely unused. It was just a dirty old corner of the basement not being used at all. And I thought it would be a nice place to have it that wouldn't cause any problems with the house. The floor is concrete, two of the walls are concrete, two of the walls are wood. So issues like humidity and moisture wouldn't be a problem if I splashed water on the floor or on the walls. If I were growing in an apartment, for example, and had a carpeted room that I wanted to use as a grow room and I didn't have the choice of the flooring, I would want to be more careful because carpeting, drywall, and those materials are more easily affected by the humidity and the moisture. The prices that I give you in this video will be US dollars and they will be current as of January 2017. Alright, well let's go ahead and see how much it's going to cost to set up a grow room. In my opinion, the very first thing and most important thing you need when you're going to grow orchids indoors is light. Some people are blessed with houses with lots of windows and they can get away with growing their orchids in their windows, but my house isn't like that, so I grow my orchids in a room completely under artificial light. There are lots of options for lighting, but I use a 400 watt metal halide lamp. These types of high-intensity discharge lamps produce a lot of light, but they also produce a lot of heat, and that's something you need to consider because there is a higher risk of fire associated with this type of lamp. This type of light setup has three main components. You have the lamp, which is the light bulb. You have the reflector, which reflects the light down onto the plants. And then you have the ballast, and the ballast is a device that changes the electrical current so that it can be used by this type of lamp. In addition to the metal halide lamp, high-pressure sodium lamps also work. The difference being high-pressure sodium puts out a very orangey red light, just like the street lights you see every night. It's good for plant growth, but it's not very good for viewing the orchids because it makes everything look orange. Now if we follow the cord down from the lamp to the ballast, you'll see that the ballast is located underneath the table there. And a lot of ballasts these days are digital instead of this old type. The total cost of this lighting system for me was about $250 to $300. I use a timer to turn the lights on and off automatically every day at the same times. This timer cost about $8. Air circulation is crucial for healthy orchids. They've got to have air blowing around them. Not strong, you don't want hurricane force winds, but you need the leaves to be swaying back and forth gently. That's the type of air current that I go for. This basic box fan cost about $20. Humidity is also absolutely essential to having healthy orchids. So I use this home humidifier in this small room. It works well and it keeps the humidity around between 60 and 70%, which is, I think, pretty nice. This humidifier wasn't cheap. It cost about $85, but there are a lot of models out there to choose from, and I think pretty much all of them are going to do a pretty decent job. Now, in order to keep track of your temperature and humidity, it's a good idea to have a combination thermometer hygrometer. This one at your local big box store would cost about $15. The majority of my orchids are sitting on a wooden table, but I've got this reinforced plastic over the table to protect it from water damage. It's fire resistant as well. This plastic sheeting cost about $25. Now because this room is in the basement and has two outside walls, I was concerned that in the winter temperature was going to be an issue. So I did line the room with this 3-inch thick polystyrene insulation. There are lots of different types of insulation, but I like the white styrofoam because the white reflects light in addition to retaining heat and protecting the plants from the cold walls. I don't have to use much water for my orchids because I get it from my dehumidifier, which does use electricity, but I don't have to use tap water, which often contains chemicals that can be somewhat not harmful, but not always good for the plants. The only tap water that I do use is for the humidifier, and that takes about a gallon or a gallon and a half per day. That's about 4 to 6 liters. This tank sprayer, which I use to water my orchids, costs $10, and it works really well. It has a pump and it has a sprayer so that I can spray my orchids and get those hard to reach places without having to move the plants. Some optional accessories for your grow room might include various chemicals for insect, fungus, and disease control. I use them very sparingly, but it's good to have them sometimes. All in all, with all the things we've talked about today, the total cost of starting an orchid grow room is about $600 to $700. That's not including the plants. The great thing is, once it's set up, the maintenance for this is only the cost of the electricity, which is $10 to $20 per month. And of course, remember that these costs are all estimates. It's possible that you could set up your own grow room for much less. This is if you had to buy everything new. Well, that's all for this week. Thanks for joining me. I'm William Green. These are my green pets, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.